this episode of It Came From My Side of the Laundry Room. We're going to take a look at some stuff I got at Disney World, and we're going to take a quick trip to Cybertron. So, stick around. Hello friends, and welcome to It Came From My Side of the Laundry Room. This is the show where I talk about different things that are around the laundry room. This time we're going to talk about some things I picked up at Disney World, and like I said, we're going to take a quick trip to Cybertron. So without further ado, let's get collectible-listic. Anyway, folks, a couple weeks ago, I went over some of the swag that I got while I was at Disney World. But there was one thing I couldn't show because I was still figuring out how to do videos like this. So I was excited to try this method out again, and I thought, what better way than to show the pins that I got at Disney World. Now, I know that might turn a few of you off right away, but hang in there. There's some really cool things here. So, reaching into my bag, and I need to apologize because I am under a little bit of a time crunch right now to get content out. So, I am multitasking and doing laundry at the same time. So, if the sound is not the best, that is why, because the washer and dryer is running off to the side here in the laundry room. I apologize if it's horrible, but like I said, I'm under a little bit of a time crunch to get this stuff out, and I have to do what I have to do. So I apologize, and I'm hoping it does sound good, because I won't know until I start editing. Anyway, let me reach in the bag here and pull out the first one. This is, and again, this is a new method for me, so bear with me as I'm learning this as we go. Here we go. The Devil Donald and Angel Donald. If you're a fan of the classic shorts from Disney, you know that these two characters almost always make an appearance when Donald is faced with making a decision. Sometimes they switch roles and the angel will be the devil or the devil will be the angel, depending on the situation. Anyway, I saw this and just had to get it. A, for that nostalgia of the original shorts, but also, I mean, it's Donald. I have to get anything I can find with Donald for a reasonable price. So, there's that. Let's put that over here. Next is from one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. Ever since I was a small kid and saw it in the theater, I have always been enthralled by this movie, and that is Robin Hood. It might be a little shimmery there. But here we have Robin Hood and Little John. Sorry if the light is messing it up. Like I said, I'm still learning this method. This is only the second time I've tried it. The last It Came From My Side of the Laundry Room was the first time I did it. And like I said, I was just excited to experiment a little bit with this format. But, like I said, two characters from one of my favorite movies of all time. There we go. Even it up a little bit. Again, I apologize for the lighting. I'll figure that out as we go along. Next out of the bag is, a Pandora pin with a Banshee. It says open edition. I really don't know what that means. I'm not that big of a pin collecting fan. I just know what I love, and that's what I get. And anyway, yeah, I know at times I can bag on Avatar, but to be honest, I mean, Pandora at Disney World is a sight to behold. It's beautiful. And this time, I think I just approached it with an open mind and really enjoyed it and wanted to commemorate that with this pin. I mean, it's a really neat design. It's very basic, and I think it's really neat. And I just love getting pins from the parks that we go to, the rides that we rode, just to remember the experience. So we'll set that down there. Next out of the bag is a Christmas pin, because we were there at Christmas time. I think that is adorable. Those little reindeer are so cute. And Mickey as Santa, super awesome. It has some really cool glitter in the hat, which I guess could symbolize snow maybe, or just a really neat effect. Now this, how he's dressed was like the motif of Christmas for them this year, was Mickey's Main Street Tree Farm. Very cool. Wish I would have gotten the shirt, but they're very expensive. So I stuck with some other things instead. So this pin, very affordable, and helps me remember the great time we had at Disney during Christmas. Next is another Pandora pin. And this is, I forget what they're called, but there's six-legged horse things. I just thought this was so cute. They had this type of version of it as a stuffed animal that I kept trying to talk my daughter into buying, but she didn't go for it. So this pin is as close as I could get. Very cute. I like that they took some of the hard edge off of Pandora this time around while we were there, and had more cutesy stuff like this. And I think that fits perfectly with Disney. And plus it looks like something from Pokemon, which I'm all about. Next is, this is the Test Track pin. It is kind of lenicular. I always butcher that word. Has like the hologram thing here. I don't know if you can tell, it changes colors and stuff. But the reason I wanted to get this was, and some of the other pins in this bag, a milestone for my kids. They rode this, they were not afraid, they loved it, and that's just something I wanted to celebrate and to have this as a keepsake for that time. I mean, we all had fun, and it's just great to have this as a reminder of that. And for their daring milestone of getting on a big kid ride. Oh, you can see it there. That's cool. Next is, this one blew me away that they had it. But Darkwing Duck. How awesome is that? I mean, that's a character you don't expect to have any play at the parks anymore anyway. I'm sure in the 90s he had his day in the sun, because I'm pretty sure they had a character of Darkwing Duck that would walk around the parks. Unfortunately, not this time around, but if he gets popular on Disney Plus with his past episodes, who knows? And they kind of have started having him on the new DuckTales cartoon, so that's super cool too. Next is, I loved this. A Scrooge McDuck gold coin. I mean, what better way to honor such a great character? And if you saw the Walt Disney World episode that I did, you saw that I finally got to meet him at the park. And I met him twice, actually, and it was awesome. But, I mean, come on. That's perfect. Next is from Epcot. And this is from the Candlelight Procession. It's dated 2019. And the stained glass on here is so cool. I mean, it is actually see-through. You probably can't tell with on its card. This is a limited edition, of course, because it's dated. But we got to watch that. I think I talked about it in the Disney World episode from a few weeks ago. But it was really fun and really pretty. And what a great way to remember that experience. Next is another one from Epcot, and this is the Festival of Holidays with Chip and Dale. Okay, it has Chip and Dale. I love them. My wife loves them, so we had to get it. And the Festival of Holidays is what all Epcot does for Christmas. You can travel around and hear different stories of different Santas and different customs from other countries. Very cool. And this is dated as well, 2019, and limited release because of that. I love the card. This is one of those things where it's like, how will I display it? And also the card. But I save all the cards, so I'll just add it to that collection in one of my drawers here that you always see behind me. Next is the Droid Depot, which I had to mark the occasion of making my own droid. I love the little dude, and I play with him all the time. And, okay, first off, it's got a Gonk droid on it. Conk droid, Gonk droid. And it's got the logo of the Droid Depot. Sorry if the lighting's bad, but it's very silvery. But this also is a cruel reminder of not getting the 30th anniversary pin for Star Tours. Because they didn't have those pins in Galaxy's Edge, and only the Star Tours ride had it. So that's a letdown. Like I told the story, I thought I could pick it up somewhere else, or we were going to return to the Star Wars shop by Star Tours, but we never made it back. Oh well, it's time to hit eBay, I guess. Yikes. I didn't remember buying this many, so I apologize. Next is the Seven Doors Mine Train, sorry. And it moves because that's what the train cars do when you're on the roller coaster. They go back and forth like that. So every turn you take, it's extreme to the one side and then back to the other. But again, this was something like Test Track that I had to get to mark the occasion of my kids being real troopers and loving this ride. I mean, it's just like a badge of their fearlessness, really. And that's why I had to get it. It was a great ride. We all loved it. It's a beautiful ride, and it always has a long wait time, and rightfully so. So, in the background, I hope you can't hear it. God, I hope you can't hear it, but the washer is spinning now in the spin cycle, so if you do hear something funky, that is why. I'll do my best to clean this up in the editing portion. Let's put that there. Next is Slinky Dog Dash. That is another roller coaster my kids tackled and loved, that I just had to get this as a badge of honor for them. It is a great little roller coaster. Odd looking when you compare it to how ingrained the other roller coasters are in scenery or theme. The theme of this is that Andy built this track, so it's just open track out in the middle with nothing really around it. So that alone is what scared my kids. Everything else kind of has things built up around it, which I could assume gives you a sense of more safety than this ride. But as scared as they were, they powered through, they had a great time, and now they know not to be afraid. And that's a priceless thing to learn. I mean, I didn't learn that until I was in my 30s, to not be afraid of roller coasters. So it's awesome that at their age they're ready to tackle things like that. Next, and I hope we're almost done, gee whiz, Toy Story Land. Just a great place, and like I said, I like getting pins of the parks that we've been to, and since this was new, I wanted to get this, add it to our little park collection. It's great, it's really fun. It's great that they're adding more rides to Hollywood Studios, because it really needed it. Next is another ride that my kids conquered, and I conquered too, Soarin'. I talked about it a good deal in the Disney World episode, so I'll skip over that since we're looking at a lot of pins here. And this is awesome. You got Mickey in an aviator's outfit, and it just says Soarin' around the world. King of the Skies. Great ride, great memory, great pin. And this one is a limited edition Christmas pin, again with a great card back, and it is the Hitchhiking Ghosts, making spirits bright. They have Christmas lights around them, and I believe Mr. Rob Gray that I met up there gave me the heads up on this, that I think it's only 1,000 of these were made. I might be remembering that wrong, but I think he said only 1,000 of these were made, so to try to find one, and I did, and it's awesome. Funny story, we couldn't get on Haunted Mansion while we were there because it broke down. Hey, that happens. It just stunk that we missed our fast pass for it, but they gave us another one to make up for it. Okay, next is another Christmas pin. And this harkens back to the Mickey short, Pluto's Christmas Tree, because you have Dale's face here all crazy from the Christmas ball, and then boom, his head goes through it. So like I said, we're big fans of Chip and Dale. My wife, that is her favorite short. Well, one of her favorite shorts is Pluto's Christmas Tree, so we just had to get this. And I swear there's only 2 more left. This is the Christmas pin from where we stayed at Port Orleans. And it has the Aristocat kittens in the middle, which plays into the whole New Orleans vibe of the resort. So it's dated 2019 for Christmas, where we stayed. So we had to get that. And the last pin is another Christmas, and this is the limited release of Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. Again, taking inspiration from the design that they did of Mickey's Main Street Tree Farm. The Christmas party was really good fun, but I think as a family, we're cool with not hitting it again. It's just kind of an extra hassle. I think some travel agents will say they're not busy because you have to pay extra for them, but it was a sold out night and it was insane. But I'm glad I got the pin. Glad I did it, and I'm glad I have the stories to tell about it. But we might be able to skip Christmas party next time. Anyway, these are the pins I got. I'm sorry. There's so many of them. I did not remember it being this many. But I'm crazy. I'm a freak, and I like collecting Disney pins. So, anyway, on to the next segment. Thanks for taking a look at my recent additions to my pin collection. And I know it's probably, oh no, more pins. But at least this time, these are pins from my heart. Not sponsored pins. These are ones that I absolutely loved and adored, and I had to bring home with me. I mean, there were some great surprises there. I mean, who would have thought that there would be a Darkwing Duck pin and a new Robin Hood pin? I mean, Robin Hood, still one of my most favorite Disney movies of all time. I'm sure I'll talk about my love affair for Robin Hood another day, but anyway, thanks for watching, and stick around after this commercial break.
Coming from the farthest reaches of the universe to challenge the worst villains on Earth are the most powerful heroes ever in the battle of the Superpowers Collection. Superpowers figures with power action, each sold separately.
It's the power of Blue Bill. These and they've got power action like Superman and the Flash. Watch out for the Joker. Les uses power features and power action. And each comes with a mini comic.
The Superpowers Collection, Superman, the Flash, Lex Luthor, Joker, and other figures with power action, each sold separately, new from Kenner.
I love old commercials. There was an art to them back in the 80s that I have not seen since. And if I may, let me do a little commercial of my own. If you like this shirt, I have this and many others over at My Side of the Laundry Room's storefront on tpublic.com. The link is in the description below. Anyway, enough of hawking crap. Let's get on to the next thing.
Farmers, we need a die. Our box was about to eat us. Yeah!
I can't get enough of that intro. That was my son singing that. The little dude just turned 5. I mean, he's now a big dude now. But that intro will always be a time capsule for me of when he first started singing the Transformers theme. I mean, he still loves Transformers, so can't beat that. Anyway, we're now on Cybertron. I know it looks like the laundry room, but believe me, we're here. Now, this will be a very quick trip because I only have one thing that I want to show you, and that is this Ravage statue. So, let's jump in and take a closer look. Okay, now let's get a closer look at this piece of artwork. And yes, it is a piece of art. Look at this. Has his missiles here. Great Decepticon logo on either side. The nice terrain of the desert where the Ark is and where the Decepticons always seem to run into the Autobots. Sorry, like I said, I'm still trying to learn this setup here. Look at that face. Funny story. I picked this up at a comic book convention in the early 2000s. This says 2003. Had to be really close to that. And what was great about the early 2000s is it was the beginning of the nostalgia boom for things like this. I got this thing for a song and dance. I can't remember exactly how much I paid for it, but nowhere near what something like this would fetch nowadays. I mean, geez, the Walmart reissues of the toy of Ravage were super expensive. $20 for a 2-pack. I mean, that's $10 a cassette. Again, I have to apologize about the washing machine if it is too loud. And they're new ones too. They're brand new front loading ones, but a spin cycle's a spin cycle, I guess. You can't get much quieter. Anyway, I've always been a fan of Ravage. Always wanted the toy. Never had one. Still don't have one. Well, I kind of have one, which we'll look at one day. So, this is, at the time, the closest I got to having one. And what an example of it. Look at it, got his little tail and everything. So, I may not have the toy, but I have this beautiful statue to display. Sorry, got a little bit of dust bunnies on it. I'm sitting on the shelf here. Oh, I don't mean to focus on his little butt, his little metal tush. But very sturdy, very heavy. And like I said, this was a time when you could get this stuff cheap. Maybe it's just because it was a comic book convention and a lot of the people that run booths don't know what they have. They just order them and, oh well, didn't sell at my store, I'll take it to the convention and sell it cheaper. But I have a lot of stuff that I got over a couple years of going to the Baltimore Comic Convention, or Comic Con, and I got them all super cheap. I'll show them off in future episodes, but for right now, I just really wanted to talk about this. And again, I'm still learning my way around this new way of doing videos, so thanks for bearing with me. Anyway, back to the other camera. Thanks for stopping by the laundry room. And if you enjoyed this episode, please give me a thumbs up. If you got something to say, please leave a comment. I love reading them and I love getting back to everybody. And if you're new here and you enjoyed this, or any of the episodes that YouTube is recommending to you, please hit subscribe. And if you hit that little bell icon, you will be notified whenever there's a new episode. So anyway, until next time, keep being rad and stay dorky.